Hi there, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm super excited, aren't I always though, to be bringing you two amazing perfumes, Jean Paul Gaultier Scandal and So Scandal. So I wanted to compare these two for you, let you know my thoughts. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Weird and Wonderful family. I would love to have you join. And without further ado, let's get into this. Now, first of all, let's just talk about these bottles. So clearly this girl or woman, this beautiful woman, she was the perfumer and she was making a huge batch of the perfume and she fell into the vat of the perfume. That's what this is, yeah. No, let's face it, Jean Paul Gaultier always has fairly provocative bottles. This one's no exception, but I can't help it. I love the legs. The legs make me happy. They're just there. So I love the bottles. If I had to choose between the two, they're both super heavy, super gorgeous. I think I would pick this one. I like the color of the juice on this one better, so you can see kind of the difference. One is a little bit cooler pink, and this one's a bit warmer pink. That said, they're pretty darn close. But I just like the lines in the bottle on this one. So this would be my preferred bottle. But let's get into the scents. And I'm going to start with the first one, which is Scandal. Now, this is the original Scandal. This came out in 2017, and it's honestly a beautiful fragrance. Now, I smelled this actually a year ago, and I fell in love with it. So it's very sweet, kind of syrupy honey. It smells like honey that's been heated up to me. Now there's a mosh of notes in this, but what I notice is that honey, major honey. I notice the patchouli, but I also notice like kind of that warm orange. This one kind of gives me a similar vibe to Poison Girl. So it's that warm, fruity, a little bit of spiciness in it that makes it like fairly sexy. Yeah, sexy goodness. But this one, unfortunately on me, the honey goes weird. So I love the opening of it on my skin, and I wish, like I love it on the card, but on me, it goes cat pee. Like just very soon, it goes like super powdery, sickly sweet, cat pee-ish honey mixed in there with it. It just doesn't work with my skin chemistry. And unfortunately, like for me, most perfumes I feel work really well on my skin chemistry, but this one just doesn't work for me. So this was a pass for me. I borrowed this actually from my sister Brunel, who loves it. And when she wears it, I just think she smells amazing. The notes in this one off the top are mandarin and blood orange. So you're getting a lot of that warm, juicy, deep orange fragrance. And the middle notes has honey, gardenia, orange blossom, jasmine sambac, and peach. So again, with that peach, like you just think of like when you bite into a big peach and you see kind of the red and the orange, like the different variations or gradients of color, that's kind of what I think of when I think of this fragrance. The base notes are beeswax, patchouli, licorice, and caramel. And I definitely get that caramel in here as well. So once it's kind of settled, like I'm noticing the caramel, but I'm serious, like this is just not good on my skin. So I was kind of sad about that, but what do you do? It happens. That said, I really wanted to try Scandal by Night, but I can't find it anywhere in my city to sniff. But then I was at the drugstore and I saw that they had So Scandal out, and so I sniffed this one and fell in love with it off first sniff. But I actually snagged it on Kijiji for a steal of a deal. So this one works for me well. The notes are raspberry tuberose, milk, jasmine sambac, and orange blossom. So this to me is a complete departure from the original. In fact, I don't know why this would be considered a flanker. because it's honestly completely different. This one is super like syrupy, sweet, kind of thick. This one's a lot thinner feeling. It's a lot fresher, brighter, definitely more kind of playful, where this one is more sensuous, this one is more flirty, I would say. So the So Scandal, right off the bat, I noticed the raspberry, big time raspberry. Now, as it warms up on the skin, I start to get a little bit of tuberose, but it's not a heavy tuberose, it's not a bubblegum tuberose, it just kind of smooths that raspberry out. I don't really notice any sort of milkiness, although there is kind of a sweet cream, I guess, kind of a sweet cream vibe that I could get off of this one. I just think this one's beautiful. Again, nothing like the original. So, you know, if you're looking for something that has this DNA in it, you're not going to find it in this. This shouldn't be a flanker, in my opinion. That said, I really do love this one. Now, this one has mixed reviews. Some people feel that raspberry is kind of cough syrupy or harsh. I wouldn't consider it harsh. I know on Fragrantica I saw one review where they said that it was like the raspberry in Girl of Now Forever. I would have to disagree. I guess I can see where they're coming from, but because there's not that lemon, it's that raspberry sweet. It's definitely a synthetic raspberry, but I would think of it more as like a candied raspberry, or you know, Bath and Body Works, they put out a raspberry body wash or raspberry set every year, or they used to anyway, in June. They'd put out their raspberry or harvest raspberry or something like that. It was one of my favorite body washes ever. I loved it. And that raspberry reminds me of this one. So if you know what that smells like, that's the kind of raspberry vibe that you get in this. Now the raspberry, it lingers throughout the whole entire wear of the perfume, but it definitely stays more linear and fresh. This one to me, I've got to quit smelling that one. This one, like the So Scandal, to me, it really shifts, but again, it just stays linear and it stays kind of terrible on me. I don't know what other people find as far as how it goes on them, but oh, it's so pretty. So I would say definitely this one's more sexy, this one's more flirty, more girly, but I think it's beautiful for spring and summer. Definitely more fresh. As far as longevity is concerned, I haven't worn this one enough to be able to tell you, although I've heard that it lasts quite a long time on the skin. This one you're going to get about 6 hours max. It's not a major heavy hitter, but that said, I actually don't mind about 6 hours. You know, I don't want it to last that much longer because I want to put something else on. Yeah, so those are my thoughts. This is definitely warm, honeyed, syrupy fragrance with that orange and the fruits. I don't know about you guys. I'd like to know what other people think. I don't think it smells like Poison Girl, but there's a vibe about it that I would categorize it in a similar genre as Poison Girl. Just kind of that sweet, sensual, warm fragrance. This one's a little bit cooler, a little bit brighter, a little more flirty, a little more fresh, definitely. So yeah, completely different. Now, which one would I choose? Obviously, I would choose this one because this one doesn't work on my skin. As far as you're concerned, it depends on what you like. I think that it would be perfectly fine to have both of these in your collection. I would not consider this redundant at all because it's completely different. That said, if you're a real fan of that honey vibe that you get in the majority of the flankers with this one, or so I've heard, then this one might be a disappointment for you because it's nothing like the original. Can I say that any more times? Yeah, I love these legs. No, I won't. I'll just stop there. But I love the legs. They're great. So anyway, this is my newest acquisition. I love it. super raspberry, super cheery. This one is definitely more raspberry heavy than the florals. So although I do notice the tuberose, to me that fresh, bright, or like that bright raspberry fragrance kind of stays throughout the whole perfume. I guess because of that, people could consider this a little bit, it may smell not as expensive. It may even smell kind of like Escada type perfumes, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'd like to know what other people think of this one. Like I said, the reviews are really mixed. If you like raspberry and you don't mind if it's a bit synthetic, definitely give this one a try. I think it's absolutely a crowd pleaser for most people. Definitely beautiful for spring and summer. So I am super excited about this one. I also know that this one appeals to guys. My husband really enjoyed this one. He just thought it smelled really fruity. So fruity and sweet is what you get here. This one is honeyed, thick, almost, yeah, honeyed, thick, sexy. That's this one. So that's it. Please tell me what you think. Which one do you like better? Do you have a preference? Have you sniffed this? Are you planning on getting it? I'd love to know. And that's it. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave it down in the description bar and I will try to answer you. And also feel free to check me out on Instagram. I continually am putting up new content there. I also do minute reviews on different fragrances that I'm testing out, so you can get more fragrance content there. And other than that, have an amazing week and we'll talk to you soon.